Good day, students. Welcome back to your virtual biology lesson brought to you by IOTA Virtual Learning. In our last lesson, we looked at nutrition and respiration, which are two important processes that lead to energy generation, and this energy is needed for various life activities in the body. One of these activity in the body that needs energy is growth. And in this lesson, we will be looking at growth in living cells. Let's look at the outline of this lesson. We will look at definition of growth in unicellular and multicellular organisms, the basis of growth, that is cell division, cell enlargement, and cell differentiation. Then we will look at aspects of growth: increase in dry weight, irreversible increase in size and length, and increase in numbers of cells. Later we'll look at region of the fastest growth in plants called meristem, organisms, and how they regulate growth. Then we'll look at growth curvatures, that is tropism. We'll look at the different types of tropism: phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism, and so on. Then we'll look at the idea of enlargement and differentiation in plants. The following are the objective of this lesson, that is what you are supposed to achieve at the end of this lesson. Go through them and familiarize yourself with them. Now, let's dive right in. Now, living cells do not remain the same after they have been produced from previous cells. Likewise, in multicellular organisms, they do not remain the same after birth. Various changes take place gradually until old age and finally till death. This process includes growth, enlargement, development, and differentiation. Let's look at this one after the other. Growth refers to irreversible increase in mass, size, and length of a cell or of an organism brought about by production of new protoplasmic material. Growth is different in a unicellular and in a multicellular organisms. In a unicellular organism, growth is an increase in size or length of the cell. However, in a multicellular organism, growth is brought about by multiplication and enlargement of body cells. However, in both unicellular and multicellular organisms, growth occurs when the overall rate of production or synthesis of cellular materials, that is anabolism, is greater than the overall rate of cellular degradation, that is catabolism. For growth to occur, animal or a cell must pass through three different stages that we call the basis of growth. These include cell division, cell enlargement, and cell differentiation. Let's look at these bases of growth one after the other. Number one, cell division. Cell division involves cell multiplication. In order for a cell to multiply, it must divide into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16, and so on. There are two kinds of cell division, which are mitosis and meiosis. However, mitosis is the cell division leading to growth. So, we will look at mitosis later in this lesson. Cell enlargement. This is the process which follows cell division, in which daughter cells increase in mass and size. Cell differentiation. Here, the cell develops into a special type of cell by changing its shape, structure, and characteristics in order to carry out a specific function. For example, in human being, a cell may develop into a nerve cell if it is found in the brain, or into epidermal cell if it is found in the skin. Now let's look at mitosis as the cell division leading to growth. Meaning of mitosis. Mitosis is a cell or nuclear division following the duplication of chromosomes, where each daughter cell or nucleus have exactly the same number of chromosomes contained in the parent. Mitosis takes place in somatic cells. By somatic cells, we mean cells that are not involved in the production of gametes. It is the major cell division that leads to organisms' growth, development, and asexual reproduction. Note, however, that mitosis produces diploid cell, that is, the number of chromosomes in somatic cells of an organism is called diploid number, meaning 2n or 2 sets of chromosomes. For example, a set of chromosomes in human is 23 in number. Therefore, somatic cells in human beings have 46 chromosomes. Stages of mitosis. There are 6 stages of mitotic division, which include interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and finally cytokinesis. We'll look at these stages one after the other. Number 1, interphase. This is the preparatory stage or the resting phase when the cell is in a non-dividing state. Here, the chromosomes are thread-like and not visible to the microscope. The nuclear membrane is also intact, likewise is the nucleolus. Stage 2, the prophase. At early prophase, the chromatin shortens in length, condenses, and becomes rod-like, and each is seen as consisting of a pair of chromatid. Prophase ends with the breakdown of nuclear membrane and the formation of spindle fiber. Stage 3, metaphase. This is the alignment stage when the pair of chromosomes align themselves at the equator of the spindle. At late metaphase, the chromosomes draw apart towards the opposite pole of the equator. The next phase is anaphase. This is the separation and migration stage of the cell division. At early anaphase, the daughter chromosome detach from the centromere region and migrate to the opposite poles of the cell. And at late anaphase, the chromosomes get to their final destination at the opposite pole. The next stage is called telophase. During telophase, the separated chromosomes reach their opposite poles of the cells. New nuclear membranes are formed around each cell of chromosomes, creating 2 distinct nuclei. Lastly, the chromosomes began to decongest back into chromatin, becoming less visible under the microscope. Telophase marks the end of nuclear division. The final stage is called cytokinesis. This is the process that divides the cell cytoplasm into 2 daughter cells. Cytokinesis completes the cell division process, resulting in 2 genetically identical daughter cells. By the end of telophase, the 2 daughter cells so produced return to the interphase stage and begin the division again. Let's go further by looking at the different aspects of growth. The first aspect of growth is increase in dry weight. Dry weight refers to the mass of a plant or an organism after all water has been removed. An increase in dry weight indicates the accumulation of organic matter and other solid within the organisms, thereby reflecting growth. Another aspect of growth is the irreversible increase in size or length. This refers to the permanent enlargement of an organism or its part. Unlike temporary swelling or expansion, this growth cannot be reversed. It is permanent. It involves mitosis and cell enlargement. Examples include enlargement of plant stem and the widening of tree trunks, also the growth of the roots. The last aspect of growth we'll look at is increase in number of cells. Growth can also result from increase in cell number, a process called proliferation. This is also achieved through mitosis. It is the fundamental process of development in multicellular organisms, contributing to tissue formation, organ development, and overall organism growth. Let's look at region of fastest growth in plants. You already know that growth occurs because of the division of cells. In plants, the active cell division happens in some areas and the tissues of those regions are responsible for the growth in the plant. Let's understand this through an experiment. In the first scenario displayed here, let us cut off the tip of the main stem of a plant as it is shown in the image. Here, the branches and the roots will grow, but the main stem will not. In the second scenario, let us cut off the tip of some of the branches of the plant. Here, the main stem and the main root will grow, but the branches will not. In the third scenario, let us cut off the tips of the roots of the plant and see what happens. Here, the branches and the main stem will grow, but the main root will not grow. Here is the explanation to these three experiments. The tips of the plant did not grow when they were cut off because the growth in this area is inhibited. This is because the tips of the plant contains a tissue called meristematic tissue, which are actively dividing cells that contribute to growth. Therefore, the region of fastest growth in plants are the regions containing meristematic cells. They are found at the tips of the plants, such as the tip of the shoot, the tip of the root, the tips of the branches, and also at the internodes of plants. The cells in this region are immature and undifferentiated, and they are in a state of active division and continuous growth. The shoot tip contains shoot apical meristem. The root tips contain the root apical meristem. The nodes of plants contains intercalary meristem, while the lateral sides of the root and shoot contains lateral meristem. Let's look at the summary of what we have learned so far in this lesson. Growth is an irreversible increase in size or length of an organism. Growth is brought about when the rate of building up, that is, anabolism, is greater than the rate of breaking down, which is what catabolism. The basis of growth include cell division, cell enlargement, and cell differentiation. Mitosis produces diploid cells, and it is the main cell division leading to cell growth, development, and asexual reproduction. The stages of mitosis include interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. While the aspect of growth include increase in dry weight, irreversible increase in size and length, and increase in numbers of cells. A process called proliferation. Now, the region of fastest growth in plant are the shoot tip and the root tips containing meristems, which are actively dividing cells. Alright, like our normal routine, let us test our knowledge of what we have learned by answering the past WAEC questions on the concept of growth and cell division. The first question is from WAEC 2018, and it says, the haploid number of chromosomes in human is A. 48, B. 46, C. 24, and D. 23. Pick your answer from the options given. The correct option is option B, 46. Since gamete cells are diploid, they are half of the haploid cells, and since it is 23 chromosomes, multiplying this by 2 gives us 46 chromosomes in the haploid cell. The next question is question 8 from 2023, and it says, which of the following is described as an increase in dry weight? A. Reproduction, B. Absorption, C. Injection, and D. Growth. Think and pick your answer. The correct option is option D, growth. An increase in dry weight signifies the accumulation of organic matter within the organism, which reflects growth. Reproduction, which is option A, is the act of producing young ones of the same kind, while injection is the act of taking in food or swallowing in food. Question 18 from 2025. This growth involves following except cell division, B. Cell division, C. Cell differentiation, and D. Cell enlargement. What do you think the answer is? The correct option is option A, cell reduction. This is because a cell that is reducing in mass or length or size cannot be said to be growing. All other options are processes leading to growth. The next question is question 11 from 2009, and it says, two organelles directly involved in mitotic cell division are A. Nucleus and mitochondria, B. Ribosomes and nucleus, C. Centriole and Golgi apparatus, D. Nucleus and centriole. Look at the pair of organelles critically and pick your answer. The correct option is option D, nucleus and centriole. The nucleus is one of the major organelles involved in cell division. It divides into two to produce two daughter cells. The centriole also is important in the formation of the spindle fiber during cell division. All other organelles listed here in option A, mitochondria, is not involved in cell division. In option B, ribosomes is not involved in cell division. And in option C, the Golgi apparatus of cell division. Question 10 2001. Growth the following processes. Growth include the following processes except A. Differentiation, B. Enlargement, C. Mitosis, D. Meiosis. Pick your answer. The correct option is option D, meiosis. Meiosis is a cell division that produces gametes for the purpose of sexual reproduction. It is not a cell division that leads to growth. All other options, that is differentiation, enlargement, and mitosis, are processes leading to growth. Lastly, let's look at question 5 from 2019, and it says, what stage of cell division is illustrated in the diagram above? A. Prophase, B. Metaphase, C. Anaphase, and D. Telophase. The correct option is option B, metaphase. As you can see in the diagram, the chromosomes are already paired up, forming daughter chromosome, and they are aligning themselves on the equator of the spindle. This stage of alignment is called metaphase. That will be all for the first part of this lesson on growth and development. Watch out for the next lesson, on growth regulations by hormones and also growth curvatures in plants. Till we meet again, bye.